So which comes first, the confidence to become a great athlete, or you're a great athlete, so of course you're confident? Well, it's a big subject. We're going to unpack it all in today's video. Let's get started.
And now the most trusted name in all of youth sports, here's Coach Mark.
Hey moms, dads, it's Coach Mark. Happy to be here with you today. Today, we're going to talk about confidence, specifically raising a confident young man, young athlete, because here's why. It's really, really hard, if not impossible, to get to the higher levels without supreme confidence. It's so competitive. So as a parent, and I'm speaking as a parent myself, we got to be really aware of our son's confidence. And obviously there's a balance between confidence and cockiness, okay? We're not talking about cockiness and arrogance. We're talking about something that he believes he can do. And I'm going to break it down today. I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you as a parent can make sure you're doing everything possible and everything right to raise a very confident young man. So let's get started with number 1. Not surprisingly, to build confidence in your son, it is have a plan. That should not surprise you. If you've been watching any of my videos, I talk all the time about the importance of having a plan. You know, the old saying is people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. Well, it also touches on confidence as well. Here's why. When you have a plan, it's like you can clearly see where you're going. My dad used to say, if you don't know where you're going, any road will do, okay? It's kind of like meandering around. When you're meandering around, you don't have a plan, it's easy to feel unsettled, it's easy to feel insecure. But when you have a plan and you can clearly see the steps of how the plan is going to unfold, you can be very confident in what you're doing. And then you can also make adjustments along the way, which also bolsters your confidence. So again, number 1 and critical to success, have a plan. Okay, number 2 is to focus on his strengths without deleting or not paying attention to his weaknesses. This is a fine line. It's a balance. But too many people get caught up in focusing on the negatives all the time. And that's what they talk about. That's what they think about. A kid goes 3 for 4, has a great game, gets in the car. Mom and dad want to know, how did he strike out that one time? Okay, that's what I'm talking about, focusing on the negatives. So to build confidence in a young athlete, you look for ways, you look for opportunities to lift him up. You know, as a parent, one of my challenges was always find my kids doing something right. So when your brain starts thinking like that, you start zeroing in on, wow, you really did this well, and you did this well, and I'm so proud of you for this. And that's the language, that's the feel, and that builds confidence. So make sure you're focusing on positives more than negatives. And let me just touch on that one more time. I talk about the yeah buts, okay? The yeah but is a college coach is watching a kid and he says, I really like your son, but whatever that but is, we can't ignore it. We can't act like it doesn't exist, because that's what's going to keep them from getting a scholarship down the road. So that's not negative, okay? I used to get in little debates with parents about, like, I'd say, well, your son's feet are too slow. And they'd say, well, that's kind of negative. It's not negative at all. It's information. And when we get information and do something about it, that's power, okay? So don't think that that's being negative. That's just being honest and realistic about areas that need to be improved. There's a big difference. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Hey, sorry for interrupting the video. We'll get right back to it, but I wanted to ask you a question. Have you found the perfect travel baseball program? If the answer is yes, then you need to stay right where you are, because it's so hard to find a great program. If by any chance you have not, then I want you to check out D1D. Now, you may know this, but I've been in travel baseball for over 20 years, and I just started this program, so I haven't had a chance to really set it up the right way. So check us out at d1dnational.com. All right, number 3, let's get comfortable with failure, because we all know, or we should know, that baseball's hard. I mean, it's one of the hardest things in all athletics, okay? All sports, baseball is considered one of the most challenging, especially hitting a baseball. So there's a lot of failure. I would challenge you to maybe take that word out of your vocabulary. It just is, okay? Let's not label it something negative, and let's definitely not pretend that it's not part of what we're doing, okay? So to build a confident young athlete, we want to get comfortable when things don't go our way. We want to get comfortable in embracing adversity versus thinking of adversity as something bad. You know, the most successful people in life look at adversity as a way to get stronger. It's a different mindset, okay? So, you know, understand, mom and dad, that, you know, your son will strike out. Okay, your son will make errors. He will make dumb base running errors. Okay, it's part of the game. And working with parents over the last 20 years, I will tell you, the kids that had the most success had parents that didn't focus on that. They didn't look at it as a negative. It didn't impact their disposition. Have you ever seen parents when their sons don't do well, that their parents are all upset, their parents are mad, they get in the car, they're yelling, you know, we're tired of doing all this stuff. Wrong attitude. I'm sorry to be so blunt about it, but nobody wants to get in a car and hear all that, you know, with a game that it's totally acceptable for it to not go our way, okay? Watch a big league game. These people aren't getting all upset when things don't go their way. It's just part of the game, okay? If you talk to the parents of big leaguers, which I've done many times, they're like, hey, yeah, good game, bad game, you know, didn't do as well as blah. That's their attitude. They're chill, okay? So just look around the youth sports world and you'll see a lot of parents really getting this one wrong, because their attitude, their disposition, their demeanor, their relationship is all based on doing well or not doing well, and that's a huge mistake. Number 4, surround your son with positive people. That is a great way to help build his confidence, and let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Positive people. They're the people that the glass is always half full. Okay, we all know that there are people that are glass half empty people. Personally, in my life, I've tried to, hate to say it, avoid those people. I don't have anything in common with them. Okay, I'm always looking for the bright side. They're always looking for the dark side. It's not a conversation I enjoy having. It's not an influence I want in my life. So when you run into people like that in your son's life, you know, that's an area I would say as a parent, maybe to protect them or shelter them a little bit, if you can, from the Debbie Downers, the people that like to rain on their parade. Okay, now you as a parent, you can't be that way either. I have a friend that told me that his parents never supported him, never believed in him, never lifted him up, and even to this day, he struggles with confidence. Why? Because of that programming, okay? So I'll give you a real life example of this one, and you know, sometimes you can't do much about it. In this case, this kid couldn't, but I had a kid on my team, travel team, that was just an absolute stud. He was a right-handed pitcher, and I kept telling him, you're a Division I player, you're a Division I player, and he'd go, really? You think I am? I said, no, I know you are. And I never quite understood why he didn't see it himself. Well, I found out why. I went to watch him pitch in high school, and the game that I saw him pitch, he had 17 strikeouts. I mean, he was just dominating. And after the game, I'm talking to his parents, I'm talking to him, and they introduced me to his high school coach. So I'm talking to his high school coach, and I said, man, Jake's got a bright future. I said, we're going to find him a home at some great Division I school. And the coach goes, I don't know about that. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I don't know if he's D1 material. And I wanted to scream, because this kid, if there was ever a D1 prospect, it was him. And his own high school coach was planting seeds in his head that maybe he's not a D1 guy. Now, I don't know nothing against the guy. Maybe he's never seen a D1 guy. I don't know. Maybe he never had one, because Jake was everything you would want in a D1 prospect, and his own high school coach didn't see it. So Jake couldn't quit his high school team, but he's very fortunate, and I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back. I think he would say the same thing. He's very fortunate that he had me telling him that he was a D1 guy, because his own high school coach probably had him going to a D3 or a D2 school. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he wanted to play Division I baseball, and he did. So that's an example of having somebody kind of negative in your life, that you have to offset that with positive people. And lastly, number 5, we've got to be able to control what we can control. I know it's a cliche, but you as a parent, helping your son to understand controlling what he can control and letting everything else go. Do you know how many people fail in life, don't succeed, don't reach their full potential, because they spend so much time focusing on things they can't control? Okay, I'll give you a real life example. It happened to my son when he was in college. I mean, he started as a freshman in the SEC. Okay, that's a pretty good start to your college career. Well, he transferred to Penn State, and when he got to Penn State, there was a new coach there, and there was a spell where he was not in the lineup, or he didn't know if he was going to be in the lineup. Think about the high of starting as a freshman in the SEC, dropping down and not starting on another team that's not in the SEC at the time, not at that level, right? I kept saying to Christian, Christian, you don't control the lineup, okay? You don't make the lineup. If you did, you would pencil yourself in, I'm sure, right? But you don't. So let's not focus on the decision. Let's focus on how we respond to the decision. So here's how you respond to something like that. You go over and you look at it and you're in the lineup, you got to be ready to play, right? You go over, you're not in the lineup. You got to be ready to play, right? That is it. Simplify it. It doesn't have anything to do with what the coach thinks or anything. It has to do with, I'm in the lineup, I'm not in the lineup, and I have a response. I'm ready to play. And he got through that, but that was a little challenging, because it kind of messes with your mind. So make sure that your son if you listen to him talk, or you're talking to him, make sure you're talking about the things that you can control. What are some of the things that you can control? You can control your attitude, right? What you think is in your control. How about your hustle? How about when you get on the field? How do you play? All of that, your mentality are things that you can control. Everything else, let go. And you'll be a much more confident player when you do that. Okay, so to reiterate, so we talked about 5 ways that you as a parent can boost up the confidence of your son. Number 1 was have a plan. Very important. Number 2, focus on his strengths, not his weaknesses. Number 3, understand the game is a game of failure, and failure is okay. Embrace it. Don't beat your son up because of it. Number 4, surround your son with positive people. And number 5, make sure you're focusing on what you can control. And your son is understanding that concept in life. Control what you can control. Good things will happen as that. As always, thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification buttons. Leave some comments at the end. And until our next video, God bless you.